our workout today has a warm-up. The warm-up is going to be staying the same for the next few weeks. Then we have our sort of meat and potatoes, our workout in the middle, and then we have a mobility section at the end, which is also the same throughout the next couple weeks. For today's workout, you'll need one heavier weight, two smaller weights, and maybe a mat for cushioning, okay? The six warm-ups exercises, I'm just going to go through them real quick because I know we have some new people. Do them with me, check them out in your body, see how they feel, make sure you ask questions if you need to. So just a squat. So lead back with the hips, sit down like you're in a chair, pull in the belly, long spine, drive through the heels, come up, squeeze the glutes. Drive back with the hips and up, squeeze the glutes at the top. Maintain a nice long spine and the belly pulls in, right? This whole next couple weeks is all on stability muscles. So we're really working through the hips here and the bigger muscles in the legs. Okay, nothing special there. The next one is a push-up. Now, I'm going to do it on the ground. You could modify by bringing yourself up onto a chair. I'll also show you how to modify with your knees. So push-ups, you know, everybody's really kind of seen one or done one. You're starting in a plank position. Hands are about shoulder width apart. Pull the shoulders down the back, pull the belly in. This is your start position. Lower your body all the way and back up. Now, your push-up could be a little shallower, and that's great. That's working within your range of motion. So kind of feel this out. Now, there's going to be a point during the workout where there's 60 seconds of push-ups. So I will be modifying. And one way you can do that is by coming down into your push-up and then dropping the knees to aid in coming back up. And then lift the knees. So that's a great way to get through 60 seconds of push-ups. Okay, so that's the push-up. Prone raises, you know these probably as dead bugs. I'm gonna grab something to put underneath my knees. You start in a tabletop position. For the warm-up, you use no weight. During the workout, you can add weight to the hand. So tabletop position, belly's pulled in, hips are gonna stay square to the ground. You're going to lift one leg, opposite arm. Find that full engagement, right? And then come down and switch sides. So just find that little extension of both hand and foot in opposite directions while pulling in the belly to support the hips. So that's your prone raises or bird dogs. All right, two more. No, three more. Lateral climbers. So these are the only kind of tricky ones that we have in our warm-up. So if you start in a plank position and then you bring your right foot across your body and then extend the left leg. So the legs are kind of in this lateral position, but your arms are in that plank position. Your feet are going to travel from side to side. So it'll look like this, keeping your weight over your hands, getting a little bit of a skipping motion from side to side. Now, you can do a tap, tap, and extend, so little steps in between if you need to reset or if you just need to work your way up to that hop. Main goal here, shoulders down the back, and that your hips don't bob up and down here. They stay low, okay? That's your lateral climber. Next one is your medicine ball bridges. So it's a bridge. You'll have weight in your hands. I'm just putting together two 5-pounders. So you set up for a bridge with the weight overhead. Scoop the hips up, bring the weight to the hips, and then come down in reverse with control here. So this isn't so much about speed, it's about control, okay? Medicine ball bridges. And our last one is, they're called windscreen wipers. They're really just to help prepare your hips for movement. You're on the ground, arms out to a T. You're going to take one foot up towards the opposite hand. It doesn't matter how far it goes up. It's just reaching up and across, and really we're looking at the hips stacking and rolling from side to side. This should feel good. It's a nice stretch in the low back. Okay, those are our 6 exercises. We're going to go through twice, 30 seconds each. Okay, so we're up off the ground, ready for body weight squats. And just getting my timer. Starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Body weight squats, 30 seconds of it. Just finding the rhythm, making sure you've got that nice long spine. Hips are driving back. Your knees are not going over your toes. Belly stays pulled in, especially at the lowest point. Keep going here. We've got 10 seconds. And then we go to push-ups. I'm going to be inclining my push-ups for the warm-up. So I'll be up on a chair. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Push-ups. You're either on the ground, you got a chair. Nice long plank. Shoulders down the back. Belly pulled in. Pull muscle to bone. So you're really acting as if your body is a plank. You've got 10 seconds here. And then we're going to be on hands and knees for prone raises. Keep those shoulders plugged down the back. All right. Hands and knees. Bird dogs, prone raises. Lifting and lengthening. Opposite direction. Finding that whole posterior chain, but keeping the belly button pulled in to support the hips. After this, we have those lateral climbers. So we'll stay on the ground. Hands will move from side to side. Here we go. All right. I'll find that position, legs lateral, and either step, step, lateral, step, step. I gotta create more space, or it's a little hop. Shoulders down the back. Keep the hips low. Remember, you can always go to the step, step, step in between. We've got 8 seconds. And then we're going into bridges. I think I got them all this time. Okay, I keep missing ones on the warm-ups. Grab your weights. Come onto your back. Arms overhead. Scoop the hips up. Roll the spine up. Bring the weight to the hips. And then come down in reverse with just as much control. Keep going. We're going to stay on the ground for windscreen wipers after this. 3 seconds. All right, ditch the weight. Open the arms to a T. One foot drives up across the body, opposite hand. Just getting the hips to roll side to side. This isn't about being fast. It's really just letting the body sort of be prepared for what's coming its way. We've got 5 seconds and then we're back up on our feet for round 2. All right, squats. Get right into it. No extra rest. 30 seconds starts right after the last 30 seconds. Maybe exploring your depth here. In squats, it's monumentally important as you come down to really think about spreading the earth underneath you. That'll get your outer hips involved in the squatting pattern. Push-ups, I'm gonna incline mine. You do you, okay? We'll be doing prone raises next. That's in a tabletop position. We've got 13 seconds here. Knowing that holding plank in these push-ups is fine too. That's really gonna work on a great amount of shoulder stability. All right, on all fours. Lifting opposite hand and leg, finding that whole posterior chain. Keep the neck long, so try not to crank the head up. And then keep those hips square to the ground, belly pulled in. Alternating sides, nice and smoothly. We've got 5 seconds here, and then we have the medicine ball bridges. Okay, here we go. On your back, with your weight, being mindful of your bridging, so scooping those hips up, peeling the spine up. Coming back down in reverse. Only 10 seconds left here. And then we have windscreen wipers. And I already know I missed one, so we'll be having one more after that. All right, windscreen wipers. Open up to a T, rock the hips. We're gonna end on the harder one with the lateral climbers. That's the one I forgot. Getting those hips to rock, enjoying the stretch through the low back. In 8 seconds, we're gonna flip over, find plank, get our feet into that lateral position, and go to lateral climbers. Okay, here, last 30 seconds of our warm-up. Finding those lateral climbers side to side or stepping through. There's a couple steps in between if you're doing the stepping. Keep the shoulders down the back, belly pulled in. 10 seconds here. Back and forth. Keep moving. Couple more seconds and done. All right. My timer says there's still one more, but maybe you can tell me. All right, warm up done. We've got now our main part of the workout. We've got 4 different rounds. Each round will have different exercises. The first round, the formula is 60 seconds, each exercise 3 times through, and there are 3 exercises. Here they are. You'll need your heavier weight for these. I'm using 15 pounds today, okay? So it's a squat press. So squatting, we've already done that in the warm-up. All of that still applies, but now you have a weight on one side, okay? So you're gonna go through your squatting pattern and then lift that weight overhead, keeping the belly in so that we don't get some overarching in the low back. So keep the belly in, you'll return it to the shoulder, squatting back up. You can get a little bit of pacing here. We will do half on one side, half on the other side. So that's the first exercise. Then we have the bridge steps. So it's a bridge. You're gonna bring yourself up into a bridge, and then you basically step with one leg, lifting at a time. If that feels like too much, you can always just go to a lightened foot, a little toe tap or something. Palms are up, long through the cervical spine. Hips stay square, so try not to let any dropping of the hip as you lift a leg, okay? So those are the bridge steps. That's the second exercise. The third one is the prone raises, those bird dogs that we did in warm-up. And I'll be adding, you could add 3 to 5 pounds to your hands if you'd like. So that's these guys, okay? Go through those 3. You have a 30-second break. We're gonna do that 3 times through, okay? So grabbing your heavier weight, getting it to one shoulder. We're gonna start with squat presses. Let me grab my timer. This is gonna be 60 seconds, each exercise with a 30-second rest before starting again. All right, we all good? You can always unmute, ask questions, don't be shy, okay? Okay, starting in 10. So you've got your heavier weight up on your shoulder, shoulders pulled back and down, belly pulled in. 3, 2, 1. Here we go, going through that squatting pattern. Oops, I forgot to press, and pressing it up. Keeping that belly pulled in. Because we're weighting only on one side here, we're working a lot of stability muscles through the hip, the core, and the shoulder. Okay, we're gonna switch halfway, and that's in 10 seconds. Okay, so just be ready for that. Checking in with all the parts here. All right, getting ready to switch. Switch that hand and get right to it. Loading the hips and legs and exploding up with that hand. Keep that belly in and just start checking in with the shoulders. Check in with the hips. Are they staying square? Make sure that belly pulls in. 5 more seconds And then we're down on our back for bridges. All right, bridge steps. So on your back, come up into a bridge and then step it out. 60 seconds here. So feel free to keep time under tension with one leg lifted for 5 seconds or so. So that creates a little more strengthening and stamina in the hips to kind of lengthen the time that that foot is held up. We're halfway. And then after this is the bird dogs, the prone raises, starting in all four. I will be adding weights, small weights to my hands. Keep those hips high, glutes pulled in. Palms are facing up. Check in with those shoulders. 5 seconds. We're gonna flip over to all fours. All right, here we go. All fours, weight or no weight, opposite hand and leg. Belly pulls in. The shoulder that's on the ground, make sure that's stabilizing by pulling down the back. And then find control and fluidity. I find that using my breath helps here, exhaling as you lift, and then inhaling, release. When you exhale, it helps tone the belly naturally. We're over halfway. You get a little 30-second break, and then we go through all three of those again. So we're concluding our round 1 out of 3. 13 seconds. Find that lift. Find that glute and hamstring. 3, 2, 1. 30 seconds break. Grab a drink, towel off, what have you. I know Deb likes to do a little jog in place, which I love. She never stops moving. So same 3 exercises, starting with the kettlebell squat press. We're not using kettlebells, but weighted squat press. All right, grabbing that heavy weight, putting it at one shoulder, and time's up. 60 seconds starting now. Good. Yeah, don't wait for me. Keep that belly in. We're doing 30 seconds, 30 seconds. Control here. There's a little bit of momentum that happens from the rise of the squat to the press. Try to really control that. Switching sides. Finding a rhythm. Right, gains come from pushing your edge just a little bit, right? So listen to your body, but also know that you can talk your body into more usually. Okay, on our back for bridges, bridge steps. Holding that bridge, palms up, lifting. One leg at a time, remembering you can keep that leg lifted for some added time under tension. You might notice that like one leg, it's harder to maintain that bridge when you lift than the other. And that's sometimes an indication of just imbalances in the hips, which we all pretty much have. We're over halfway. We've got about 20 seconds left. If you feel anything in the low back here, pull the pubic bone towards the belly button, and that helps to create that stability through the lumbar spine. We've got 6 seconds, and we're turning over tabletop for our prone raises. Here we go. Light weights if you want them. And then getting right into it. Finding the stability through the core as you lift one leg at a time. Being mindful and intent each time you raise an arm and leg, finding that full engagement, finding the benefit here of this exercise. Find a rhythm, a little over halfway, and then we get that 30-second break again, and we'll go through it one more time. Keep the belly in. Keep that planted hand shoulder down the back. 10 more seconds. 2, 1. Good. You've got 30 seconds. Whatever calls to you in the 30 seconds. Drink, stretch. Know that we've got one more round. We're starting with the front weighted squat with your heavier weight on one side. We're only have 10 seconds left. So prep yourself here. Get that heavy weight at the shoulder. Last time through. Here we go. Ready? 60 seconds starts now. Oh, I forgot the press again. Keep the shoulders plugged down the back. Make sure that belly helps stabilizing through the hips and the low back. A few seconds away from switching. Finding control. All right, switch sides and get right into it. Keep moving. Controlling the push as well as the dismount to the shoulder with the weight. So really controlling the up and the down. 10 seconds, and then we're on our back, bridge steps. 5 seconds. All right, done with those bridge steps. Holding that leg up for longer and longer if you like. This is the last time we'll be here with this exercise. Palms up, shoulders away from ears. You can experiment with what it feels like to lift that foot completely and have the straight leg. 20 seconds. Try to maintain that bridge. Remember, if you feel anything in the low back, pull the pubic bone up towards the belly button. And we've got 8 seconds. We turn over to tabletop for prone raises. Okay, here we go. Prone raises, weight or no weight. These guys too, you can also hold on to that raise for a little longer. That's certainly going to pack a punch, especially if you've got some hand weights. Try to pull everything in, maintain form as you hold time under tension. That's only if you're feeling really good and you want to amplify things. We still have 26 seconds here. And then we're done with this round. You get 60 seconds break before we move on. Check in with that belly. We got 10 seconds. Pull that belly in. Don't let that low back overextend. 3 seconds. Oh, feel my shoulders. All right. Little break here. We're done with round 1. Okay. Round 2, as you get your drink and catch your breath, come on over to the screen. Round 2 is the formula will be 30 seconds of each exercises 3 times through. There's no extra break in this one. So there'll be 4 times through, 3 times through, 30 seconds of each exercises. Here they are. So last week we did a kettlebell swing. Today we are going to do a single arm kettlebell swing. So you'll take your heavier weight and hold it by the end, right? And If you have the ability to go down in weight because this feels like an awkward hold, you know, you might want to do that. Okay. So a kettlebell swing uses the hips. So it's a hinging motion. You're pushing the hips back and then driving them forward to lift this weight out in front of you. Your knees are soft, but your legs are straight. So it's not a squatting motion. It's a hip hinging motion. So one arm is going to swing the weight up. So it'll look like this. Hips back, forward. I'm squeezing my glutes at the top. Control that weight up. Okay? If this feels really hard for the weight that you've got or whatever, do two-handed and you'll just do that twice through. Okay? So two-handed is the same thing. You're letting those hips go back and then drive forward. You're just holding the weight with both hands. So both hands is an option. Okay, so that's the kettlebell swing. We'll do 30 seconds on left, and then we'll do mountain med ball bridges, which we did in the warm-up, right? Those are on your back with your weight overhead, bridging and pulling the weight forward. And then we'll come back to the single arm kettlebell swing. If you're doing both hands, you'll just go back to both hands. If you're doing right and left, you'll go to the left side. And then the last one is the lateral climbers. Those are going to pack a punch. They're going to get your heart rate up. It's these guys that we did in the warm-up. And remembering, you can do those little steps, keeping the hips low the whole time. Okay, I'm sure we're well over our 60-second break. So let's get going. We're going to start with that single side kettlebell swing, or two hands if that makes you feel a little bit more comfortable. We don't want any weights like flying through the air. Okay. Here we go. Starting in 10 seconds, single side kettlebell swing. 3, 2, 1. Remember, hinging at the hip, back and forward. The hip pushing forward. Keep the knees soft, but they're straight. Keep the spine long, and the weight doesn't get pushed up past your chest area, chest shoulder area. So it's not going overhead. All right, next, on our back for bridges. You want to have some weight in your hands, right? Starting weight overhead, lift up into your bridge, pull the weight over top. Remember, you're scooping the hips up to start your bridge, and then the arms follow, returning the hips back down. After this, we're back up on our feet, and we'll do the left side kettlebell swing. Or you're doing both hands if that feels better for you. Okay, back up on your feet, left hand, soft knees, hinge with the hips, long spine. Really squeeze those glutes and push the hips forward. Don't overarch in that low back though as you come up, so keep the belly in. You want that spine to stay neutral. 5 more seconds here. And then we do those lateral climbers. All right, lateral climbers. Right back to it, side to side. 30 seconds here. And then we're back up on our feet for round 2, starting with the right side kettlebell swing. 10 seconds. So there's no extra break here. We just go from one exercise to the other. 5 more seconds. Keep those hips low. All right, single side kettlebell swing. Right hand, hinging from the hip. Long spine. Squeeze the glutes. Pull the belly in. What else can I say? 10 more seconds here. Remember, it's not a squatting motion, hinging. We're going to be on our back in 3 seconds. 4 bridges with weight overhead. Scooping those hips up, rolling them back down. We're back up on our feet for the left side kettlebell swing in 6 seconds. All right, up on your feet. Left hand has the weight. Hip hinge, long spine. Squeeze the glutes. And then we have the lateral climbers, and that'll be the end of round 2. We have one more round after that. Squeeze those glutes. 5 seconds. All right, put that weight down. Lateral climbers. Just get right into moving. Time under tension is what we're working with those stabilizing muscles. Keep the shoulders plugged down the back. Keep the hips low. 10 seconds. And then we're back up on our feet. Right hand has the weight for kettlebell swings. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Grab that weight, right hand. Last round starts here. Hinging from the hips. Squeeze the glutes. Don't overarch the low back as you come up. 12 seconds. And then we're on our back for bridges. 5 seconds. Whew, I can feel my butt. Okay. On our back. Bridging. Being mindful of scooping the hips up, rolling the spine up, and then coming back down in reverse. 12 seconds. And then we're back up on our feet for the left side kettlebell swing. All right, up on our feet, left side, hip hinging. Remember, it's not squatting. The knees stay soft, but the legs are straight. It's the hips driving back and forward. Squeeze those glutes. You've got 6 seconds, lateral climbers, and then a break. All right, last 30 seconds, and then you get a little break. We won't do lateral climbers again in this workout, so give it what you got. I can kind of feel my hips bouncing a little bit. So maybe I'll do some stepping. Keep that fast. 5 seconds. All right. Let's leave you off without some breath. So catch your breath. Whew. We've got 2 more rounds that are similar to those first 2 rounds, just using different exercises now. So 3rd round, we're back to that 60 seconds per exercise with a 30-second brief break before you start again. We'll be doing that for 3 rounds. The exercises are, sorry, I was looking at my notes. Okay, the first one we've done in previous workouts, no press, just squat with weight on one side. So it's just that squatting motion and no press. So again, that one-sided weight requires a much different action through the core and the hip. And so we'll do half and half, one on either side. So that's with your heavier weight. The second one is with that same heavier weight. We've done this in previous workouts. Soft knee, straight leg, hinge at the hip so that you're almost, you're actually hinge from the hip so that your hands reach the knees. There we go. Nice long spine. From here, you're going to row that weight up to the hip, the bottom of the cage. That for 30 seconds each side. And that's again with your heavier weight. Okay, and the last one is push-ups. It's 60 seconds. So feel free to modify, feel free to hold plank and then go back to it. Just try to, if you're putting your knees down and resting, keep it quick, like a 1 breath, 2 breath, get right back into it. Okay, that's how you're gonna build your stamina. Okay, these are 60 seconds. We're starting with our heavier weight at the shoulder for a one-sided weight squat. Let me just get my calendar back up. Wow, I'm sweating for sure. Okay. I'm almost there, I promise. Idle time. Come on, technology. Okay. Here we are. Ready, set, go. We're squatting with one-sided weight. Those squats should be super dialed in, right? The hips are driving back, belly staying in, spine is staying long, driving through the heels to come up, squeezing the glutes at the top. If you have the ability to increase your weight, you might find like, oh, I could do a little bit more here. Don't worry, we'll be back here. You don't need to change it now. Here we go, switch sides. Or if it's the other way, if it's the case, if you start feeling pain in your back or your belly's given up, you've got too much weight. It's not worth it to press that and then walk out of here not feeling great. 10 seconds. And then we're staying standing. We'll be doing one-sided rows in the 3 seconds. All right. Hinge from the hips, soft knee, hands to the knees, long spine. Row the weight up to the hip, rib cage area. Everything stays square. There's no rotation happening. 13 more seconds on this side. And control the pull up, but also the descend back down. Switch sides. Just be mindful with what your hips are doing. Build proprioception. That's where your body is in space by paying attention to what you're doing and how you're doing it. 10 seconds. And then we go to push-ups. Not really looking forward to the push-ups, I have to admit. Okay, here we go. Push-ups, modify as needed. 60 seconds, yay! All right, and we're stalling. Knowing that you can always hold plank, change your pace, use your knees, incline yourself, but be honest about what your body's doing. Are your shoulders being held down your back? Is your belly being pulled in so that your hips don't sag or pike up? Make your body a plank that's lowering down all together. And we're over halfway. We're 20 seconds left. My shoulders don't like push-ups. Whew. Almost there. And we have a 30-second break after this. Thank God. 3, 2, 1. 30 seconds. Boy, we got to go through that twice more. Time for a towel. 30 seconds goes fast. We're already halfway through. So remember, we're starting with a squat with your weight at your shoulder. 5 seconds. Get yourself set up. Ready, set, go. We're just squatting with that weight at the shoulder, keeping the hips square, keeping the chest square, building proprioception here and control. We'll be switching in 13 seconds. Get that little squeeze of the tush at the top. 3 seconds. Switch sides. 20 seconds, making adjustments where necessary. Ten seconds. We're staying standing for rows. All right, transition. Long legs, soft knees, hands down to knees. Row it up. Control it down. Row it up. Control it down. Keep the shoulders plugged down the back. Keep the belly in and the spine long. It's really common to want to shrug the shoulder that you're pulling with. We've got 3 seconds here. Switch sides. Set it up and then get to moving. Keep that belly in. And again, pulling it up, rowing it up and controlling it back down. Keeping everything square and centered. We have 5 seconds here, and then we have push-ups. Yay. Okay, push-ups, here we come. We got 30 seconds break after this. Try not to let your head hang in your push-ups. A lot of stress on your cervical spine. I think we do it because most people do it because it makes you feel like you're closer to the ground. I'm gonna hold plank here for a minute, really dialing it in with my shoulders down my back, belly pulled in, maybe even thinking about, if I could, my hands coming to my feet and my feet coming to my hands. Woo-wee, that lights it up. We got 23 seconds. All right, back to push-ups. Oh, I think my knees are gonna come into play here. That feels better. So if you drop to your knees for the whole thing, still be diligent about your belly, right? Keep the belly in, the hips stay in line. Oh, we're done with 30, we got 30 seconds rest. Oh, my talking was just a tactic to distract myself. All right, so we've got one more round of that. Ooh-wee. All right, well, time check. All right, we're doing good. Okay, get yourself set up. Heavier weight at the shoulder. Last time through. Okay. Ready, set, go. Weighted squats. All right, just being mindful, thinking about what I said in the beginning, splitting the ground apart. It can really do wonders for the stability and your ability to squat, the stability in the hips. 9 more seconds on this side. Switch sides. Find that splitting again of the ground underneath you. Keep the belly in. And then don't forget about that little squeeze at the top. 15 seconds. And then we transition to the rows, single side row. 6 seconds. All right, transitioning to rows. Soft knees, hinge from the hip, belly in, long spine. Hands to the knees. Row that weight up, control it down. Again, being mindful of not letting that shoulder side that's pulling, that's doing the rowing, don't let that shoulder creep up. You want to think about this being between the shoulder blades. So the shoulder blade, back of the shoulder is working, not the top. Oh, switch sides. Good, so set it up mindfully on this side, even though you want to get quick into it. You know, setting yourself up in the right position is pretty much everything for form. Belly in, last 6 seconds. And then we're last round of push-ups. Yay. Okay, here we go. Push-ups. I'm gonna do some chaturanga push-ups. One more tricep. It's a narrow stance with the hands. The weight comes forward and down. Whew, triceps though, man, they start to scream. Plank. Not quite halfway. You got 35 seconds. If you're holding plank, dial it in. There's so much to be had in plank. I think about those like world record challenges. I'm like, they aren't really holding plank. Not the way you should be. Keep going. We've got 15 seconds of push-ups. I'm holding plank. I got 10 more seconds. I'm gonna stick with the plank. All right, 5 seconds. Come on, we can do it. Woo, done. Oh, holy smokes. Okay. Whew. Towel off. Catch your breath. Don't be in a hurry to get up off the ground. Take your time there. Last round. This is a longie. This is a good one. I'm liking it. Okay. So we're back to 30 seconds, 3 times through. No extra rest in there. Okay. Kettlebell swings is the first one. So I don't really need to go over that. That's the hip hinge. You're using that nice long spine. Both hands this time. So even if you did both hands last time or single arm, go to both hands this time. So we'll be doing that 30 seconds. Then we have side plank drivers, which I think many of you are familiar with, but I'll demonstrate. Side plank, you'll set yourself up on your side, shoulder retracted down your back, hips pulled in and up. You can have your bottom knee down or both legs up and the top leg is staggered. Then you're gonna reach 45 degrees, letting that top hip round down, but keep the hips up and then back up. We'll be doing this for the whole 30 seconds, so no switching. We'll be staying on one side, okay? Side plank drivers on the right side. And then we'll do lunges, so you'll be back up on your feet, right? 90 degrees, stepping back. You can make it a scissor jump if you're really feeling it, okay? That'll increase the metabolic demand. Heart rate will go up. And then we go back to side plank drivers on the other side, okay? 30 seconds, 3 times through all of those. Okay, time to change my timer. All right. Uh-oh. Oh, my phone is acting funny, sorry. Okay, here we go. We are starting with kettlebell swings, both hands on your weight in 10 seconds. So I've got my heavier weight. Because I've got both hands, I'm gonna hold it from one end so it clears in between my thighs. Okay, here we go. Hinging back, squeezing the glutes. So hips back, hips forward. Long spine, belly pulled in, soft knees, but straight legs. It's not a squatting motion. We're about halfway here. And then we go to our side plank drivers on one side. So we'll stay on that one side the whole 30 seconds. 5 more seconds, getting that full squeeze at the top. All right, find your side plank, knee down or knee up. Top leg is staggered back if it's up. Driving, rotating, pulling to center. Keeping those hips up the whole time, just letting a little bit of rotation happen through the hip. Be mindful of that shoulder on the mat, that shoulder is being pulled away from the ear, retracted down the back. 6 seconds here. And then we have lunges. We're up on our feet right now. Step forward, 90-90, come back to center. Keep the hips square, no opening up of the hips. Driving through that front heel to come back to standing. Remember, you can always do a scissor kick. I'm good, I went on a run this morning. My legs are done. 10 seconds here. Then we're back, side plank, other side, okay? And that'll be concluding round 1 after the side planks. Here we go, other side. Side plank drivers, setting the legs up, hips up, shoulder, and then adding the reach and roll, and then centering back. Hips always stay high. Check in with that bottom shoulder. A lot of stability happening there. All right, back up on our feet, kettlebell swings. Grabbing your heavier weight. This is round 2 happening here. So remember, soft knee, but straight legs, hips hinge back and then push forward. Nice long spine. The weight's being pushed by your hips up to about shoulder or chest height. 5 seconds, and then side plank driver, one side the whole 30 seconds. All right, on your side, get right into it. Top leg staggered back or bottom leg down. The motion is the same either way. Good. This is where, you know, we're at the end of the workout. This is a longie for sure. You're having to dig deep. Take those little resets if you need them. We're back up on our feet, lunges. So ideally, you're just moving through this as much as possible, right? Hanging on to your form and your integrity through your body. And not worrying about how fast or how much load or whatever for some of us. 10 seconds. And then we're back on our side for the other side, side plank driver, which will conclude round 2 here. We'll have one more round. All right, side planks. Top leg back, bottom leg down, hips high, bottom shoulder down the back. Add those reaching. Knowing that, like, if this point the reaches feel like too much, hold side plank. There's so much, just like in plank, there's so much to be offered there. 5 seconds, and we're back up on our feet. Last round through kettlebell swings. All right, last time. Keeping that belly in, really squeezing those glutes, maintaining the integrity of the neutral long spine. 5 seconds, and then one more time through our side plank drivers and lunges. Side plank. Keep those hips high, bottom shoulder down the back, 15 more seconds here, and then we're on our feet for lunges. 6 seconds. Come on, you can do this. All right, back up on your feet. Lunges. Just finding that rhythm, keeping those hips stabilized through this stepping pattern. Belly in, try to keep that torso upright over the hips so you maintain that neutral hip. 10 seconds. Other side. Side plank is after this in 5 seconds. And then we're done. Here we go. Last 30 seconds here. Oops, top leg back or bottom leg down. Keep those hips high. Check in with that bottom shoulder. Letting that top hip roll and pull it back. Keep going. Less than 10 seconds here. Make yourself long through the crown of the head. 3, 2, 1. You're done. Take your time. We have a short mobility section after this. I'm gonna let you get a drink, catch your breath. Well done. You did the work today. You made me do the work today. I'm always happy about that. All right. So these are just exercises that'll help, prepare your body to walk out the door after all the things we just did. It's just sort of a nice service that we offer our body after it works hard for us. All right, you want to stand in a place that you have at least a couple of ability to step backwards from. So this is a backwards traveling hip opener. So I'm going to have to end up traveling back forward and then doing it again. But what it looks like is your knee pulls up, and then you rotate that knee out as your hips open up, and then step back. And then you go to the other side. The knee pulls up. Keep that knee high as you rotate it out, opening up the hip as you step back. So it becomes this backward traveling motion. Some of you have plenty of space. I can only get a couple steps, so I'm just going to walk back up. I want you to do maybe 2 or 3 more on each side. Takes a little balance, but really you should feel that hip just moving through its ball and socket joint. All right, make sure it's even on either side. I'm actually adding this one in just because I feel like my hamstrings could use it. It's one that we've used in the past. Okay, so you're going to take a step back with your right foot, hinge your hips back, bend through the right knee. That left leg will stay straight. Take your right hand, reach it across as you bend down with a long spine and reach across your body. So you'll feel that in the outer hip, down through the hamstring, and then come back up to standing and switch sides. So left foot steps back and bends through the knee, shift the hips back, left hand reaches across. Hang out here for just a minute, feeling the hamstring, the outer hip. Now add a little bit of rhythm to it. So get that stretch, back up to standing. And so that stepping leg is bending, the leg that stays in front of you is straight, and you're reaching across your body. So you just find that stretch and then come back out of it, keeping it nice and dynamic. Let's go one more either side. This next one will take us into tabletop position. So any cushioning you might need for under the knees. And then make sure your hands are just underneath your shoulders. Don't worry so much about your knees. We're gonna make circles clockwise around the wrist. So your weight will transfer to the left and then over in front, dig in with the fingertips, and then to the right. And then you can shift your hips back, kind of like child's pose almost. So you can get the hips into this too, making just really slow, mindful circles in the clockwise direction or on the wrist. And then just really thinking about, digging in with the fingertips when you come over the front of your hands. That keeps it out of the wrist. Do one more this direction. Just getting that, just feeling the hands and the wrist and the arms. And then switch directions and go counterclockwise. You can make these, as big and wide as you want, or maybe a little smaller feels better. So you can kind of make that judgment for yourself. Let's do one more in this direction. Good. And then we're going to come into that half kneeling position. I'm going to start with my right leg forward. So I'm going to swing that right foot forward. Good. So tailbone, pull it down towards the mat, pull the belly in. Lift the left arm up as you shift your hips forward. So opposite arm as leg forward. And you want to keep your hips square, so don't let them open up. You're feeling this probably through the front of that left leg, and then come down. So do that now, and you can use a breath and inhale as you reach up, shift your weight forward, find that stretch, and then come back out of it. So do that 3 more times, and then we'll switch sides. Keep the belly in, try not to arch through the low back. This is a front of the hip stretch. We don't want to compensate through the low back. I like to put my hand back there. Sometimes you don't know. There you go. Switching sides, however that means for you. You come back through all 4s. Just come through kneeling. Setting it up, tailbone down, belly pulled in. Lift that arm up, shift the weight forward, and then back again. Inhale, up, keeping the hips square, really kind of feeling that stretch through the front of the right leg now. Making sure you keep the belly in so that you don't arch through the low back. You want the front of the hip to open. One more. Okay, our last one is those windscreen wipers that we did in the beginning for warm up. Just getting that rolling of the hip so you're on your back, arms open to a T, and then you're just rolling the hips by driving one foot to the opposite hand. Really not important how far that foot goes or even if the leg is straight. It's really kind of just coming into that supine twist from side to side. This usually feels pretty good on the low back, the sacrum area. And let's do maybe 2 more each side. Maybe you get a pop, which feels good. And then when you're even on both sides, we are all done. Nice job sticking through it, you guys. Well done. Yeah, don't hurry up off the ground. No need, no need.